Gaming is a very, very weird world. We see crazy stuff all the time in gaming, and every month we at gameranx put together what we think is most worth your time. Hi folks, it's Falcon, and today on gameranx, the weird gaming stories of November 2022. Starting off at number 10, an absolutely insane thing happened in NASCAR, of all places. Not really some place that I'm normally paying much attention to. Sometimes a good NASCAR game is a lot of fun, but I actually am not that interested in the real racing. Except for this. This was amazing. Back in early November, Ross Chastain, who I had not heard of before, pulled off a move that he had been doing in Nintendo GameCube NASCAR 2005 when he was 8 years old, and that he didn't really know if was going to be possible. See, what he did was he put his car in a fifth, hugged the wall and hit the side, and didn't brake going through the turn, which is, kind of dangerous, and that's why nobody does it. And he did it, and he set a 75-year lap record by moving up 5 cars in like a second. See, it was a qualifying race, and he was in 10th place, and in order to get enough points to move on, he needed to be 2 places up. So he was like, I guess we'll just do this. And it worked. And it didn't cause a huge crash or anything. Instead, it just caused this absolutely amazing event that, I'm excited to see. It's cool. At number 9, Danny Trejo starred in what appears to be the best advertisement of all time, basically taking a huge dump on everything going on in the games industry and reminding people what is important about it. Video games. It's a commercial for Evil West, and it does a good job of showing off a lot of footage of why Evil West is a fun game, but not before they show Danny Trejo get more and more angry at monetization stuff that he just flat out doesn't understand until he yells, "I just want to play a game." And yeah, I agree entirely. You've listened to me talk before, right? That's what you do on the gameranx videos that I narrate. You know that even though my house was entirely empty at the time when I saw this, I stood up and cheered as if it mattered, as if my noise and action had some imprint upon the world, despite no one hearing or seeing it at all. It's just that kind of a commercial. And I don't like to praise commercials, but it's saying what all of us are thinking. Thank you, Danny Trejo. Thank you, Evil West. At number 8, somebody produced a list of various ships that had been sold as a concept by Star Citizen without an ETA on the Star Citizen final release at all. You can buy and play Star Citizen experiences, which are pieces of what Star Citizen claims to be, but you're definitely not rolling around on a Javelin, which was announced 8 years and 6 days ago, that you could buy and have been able to buy that entire time for $3,000. That money simply just going to the Star Citizen people, and you don't have a Javelin. You probably have an email that says you have a Javelin, but you don't have a Javelin. Same goes for the $2,000 Kraken Privateer, $1,800 Idris K, etc., etc. Some of these things are 11 years old, and they don't exist. They don't exist. Not even virtually as they're intended to exist. They are receipts. That is what people bought. Receipts. So at number 7, Running with Scissors, the developers behind the Postal series, posted a celebratory tweet that Postal 3 had been taken down from Steam. You see, its DRM issues and quote-unquote overall shittiness, they said it, not me. It was a glitchy, horrible mess, and easily the worst of the Postal series, but you don't often see the developer of the series do that. Now, a large portion of why they did that is likely because it's the only Postal game that they did not develop, and it probably makes them look quite a bit better by comparison at least. But they literally said at the end of their message, at least people will no longer buy that trash. That is not usually how you deal with that kind of thing. Even though they didn't develop the game, I'm sure not everybody knows that that's the only Postal game they didn't develop. And to at least some people, that probably looks like a developer bad-mouthing their own game. But it's weird even if you understand the situation entirely. Moving on to number 6, George Hotz The guy who jailbroke iOS and also hacked the PlayStation 3 took an unpaid Twitter internship. Now that sounds as though this guy is kind of screwed in terms of money. Not true. He's founded companies and I'm sure does just fine. Like, don't worry about him having an unpaid internship. It's more of a PR thing, I think. Basically, Hotz said he would do a 12-week internship at Twitter for cost of living in San Francisco. So he is getting paid, but it's not, real money. It's the amount of money it will cost for him to be there. He took to Twitter and started asking for other people to be interns too, to work on the search function, which I'm going to just go ahead and say, I don't understand any of this. I don't know what is going on here. I've looked into it for a while, and it's all very, very strange. Made more strange by it's the fact that the guy involved is the guy who hacked the PlayStation 3. At number 5, Sega is hiring a Sonic the Hedgehog lore master, which sounds very silly right off. That being said, it makes perfect sense. If you have been in the world of Sonic the Hedgehog, you know that there's about 500 different timelines, and none of them make any sense whatsoever. So they're hiring somebody to try to reconcile all of it and make the lore consistent going forward, which makes sense. I would, probably want that if I was in charge of a huge media franchise like Sonic, especially with the really popular and successful recent movie series, which is actually referenced a little bit in Sonic Frontiers. Sonic Frontiers also references a ton of stuff from across the entire lifespan of Sonic, so presumably a lot of things became completely canon in whatever the Sonic Frontiers timeline is. And that's the reason you would need an employee whose entire life is dedicated to making that make sense, because I don't think anybody else is going to be able to. At number 4, McDonald's created a gaming chair known as the McCrispy Ultimate Gaming Chair, which I think is borderline insulting. I'll go ahead and say what it's for. It's a leather gaming chair that has a special treatment on it so that it doesn't accumulate sweat or grease. It also comes with a branded towel, along with dual side trays and a warmer for your fries, I guess. I kind of think this isn't really serious. I think it's more hoping that late night show hosts pick up on it and make fun of gamers. I could be wrong. I don't know. Something about a grease-proof gaming chair just sounds a bit like they're trying to point and laugh a little bit to me. But the joke's on them, because pretty much everybody's a gamer now. Ha! And number 3, a guy made a PC, a gaming PC, a cool PC, inside of a vintage radio case. A 1940s Motorola radio. Like, when we say vintage radio, we completely mean this thing is actually a beautiful, like, Art Deco radio with a badass gaming PC inside of it. Now, this guy builds a lot of stuff. He built a PC out of concrete, for instance. He's in the process of making a solar-powered truck camper thing. There's a lot of really cool stuff. I definitely recommend his channel. I've seen some stuff that he's done before, and it's really cool. At number 2, Palmer Luckey made a very stupid VR headset that kills the user if they die in the game. And I mean that. Actually kills them. It's got explosive charges, and it explodes their head if they die in the game. He talks about Sword Art Online being, like, an inspiration for this, but, like, why would you do this? I know that somebody out there is going to be like, that's a pretty cool idea. That would really bring the stakes way up, and everybody would be all, like, scared all the time, and then they'd play the game completely different. And I'm going to go ahead and say, I don't care. That's dumb. And I'm going to give you the ultimate why that's dumb right here. This man will not put this helmet onto his head. I'll quote him here. There are a huge variety of failures that could occur and kill the user at the wrong time. This is why I have not worked up the balls to actually use it myself. And you know what? If he fixes those failures, he is not going to use it himself unless he wants to die. I'm sorry, but this is just a suicide helmet. It's for people who want to die. Because in a video game, you're going to die. That's just, to call it weird isn't it? It's just dumb. I'm kind of offended by it, actually. And finally, at number 1, EA decided that they're going to try to make an AI system that punishes you for fraternizing with the enemy. So this one, it's going to take a little bit of explaining, I think. So they filed a patent for an AI system that takes data that compares the player's behavior, not even inside the game, but also in-game data, analyzes it, and if it figures out that you've been spending time talking to the other side of the battle, I guess, if you're somehow colluding with them, and I don't know exactly how it would detect this, like what type of pattern of behavior is necessary to trigger it, but I just have to characterize this as beyond strange. Do a lot of people do that? I've never even thought of doing that. Like calling up the enemy and being like, hey, either you throw this match or I throw this match. I don't know if these games are high stakes enough for that. At least not to be like super regular. I'm sure there are people that do it, obviously, but I don't know. Best of luck to EA on that patent. Like, this is where we can really say gaming gets weird. They're paranoid. That is paranoia. Who cares? Anyway, that's all for today. Leave us a comment. Let us know what you think. If you like this video, click like. If you're not subscribed, now's a great time to do so. Don't forget to enable notifications. And as always, we thank you very much for watching this video. I'm Falcon. You can follow me on Twitter at Falcon the Hero. We'll see you next time right here on gameranx.